Your brain has a built-in reward system, and every drug on this list knows exactly how to hijack it. Scientists mapped how each one works down to the exact receptor. Most people never get told. Here are 12 drugs, what they actually do to your brain, and why some of them are harder to quit than you think. Caffeine is a stimulant, a chemical that speeds up your brain and nervous system. It's in your coffee, your tea, your energy drink. For most people, the day doesn't start until that first sip hits. It feels like a basic, harmless habit. Once caffeine enters your bloodstream, it travels to your brain and blocks a chemical called adenosine, the signal your brain uses to tell you it's tired. Your neurons fire faster. Your heart beats stronger. Within 20 to 30 minutes, you feel sharper, more focused, more alive. But here's the catch. Caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It just hides your exhaustion. Your tiredness doesn't disappear, it stacks up behind the caffeine, waiting. When the drug wears off, adenosine floods back all at once. That's the crash. Over time, your brain adjusts and stops producing as much natural alertness on its own. Now you need caffeine just to feel normal. Quit suddenly and you'll get headaches, fatigue, and brain fog for days. We joke about needing coffee to survive. That's withdrawal disguised as a personality trait. Nicotine is a fast-acting stimulant found in tobacco and vapes. The chemical that hooks people, not the smoke itself. It's everywhere. Cigarettes, vapes, nicotine pouches. Millions of people reach for it dozens of times a day without thinking about why. Within seconds of inhaling, nicotine hits the brain and releases a surge of dopamine, the chemical responsible for calm, focus, and satisfaction. Your heart rate rises slightly. Your thoughts sharpen. Stress melts away. For a few minutes, everything feels manageable. But nicotine burns out fast, and when it does, the calm flips into tension, restlessness, and craving. That's the trap. Each hit doesn't relax you. It just relieves the discomfort that the last hit created. Your brain learns that peace only exists between cravings. Over time, nicotine changes how your brain releases dopamine, meaning without it, everything feels dull and flat. The cigarette isn't giving you something extra. It's just returning you to baseline, a baseline it created. Nicotine doesn't actually relax you. It just resets withdrawal. Alcohol is a depressant. It slows down your brain and nervous system. People drink it everywhere, at celebrations, at dinners, after bad days. It's so normalized that most people never think of it as a drug at all. When alcohol enters your bloodstream, it disrupts how your brain communicates with itself. The onset brings warmth, confidence, and a loosening of social anxiety. You feel more open, more present. For a while, alcohol genuinely feels like the key to connection. But then the peak hits, and judgment fades faster than the good feeling does. Thoughts blur. Coordination slips. Your brain is convinced everything is fine while your body is falling behind. Hours later, the calm-down arrives. Dehydrated, nauseous, foggy. The next morning, your brain chemistry crashes completely. The more often you drink, the more your brain expects it to relax. Soon, you're not drinking for fun. You're drinking just to feel normal. Alcohol makes you feel alive while slowly dulling everything that makes you human. Cannabis is a psychoactive drug made from the marijuana plant, most commonly smoked, vaped, or eaten as an edible. The main active chemical is THC, and it interacts with a system in your brain called the endocannabinoid system, the network that regulates mood, memory, and perception. When THC enters the bloodstream, it binds to receptors that normally handle natural chemicals called anandamides, molecules that help you feel relaxed and balanced. Time slows down, your senses sharpen, music sounds deeper, colors feel stronger, and ideas seem profound. At its peak, cannabis can heighten creativity and calm. But the same system that makes cannabis feel good is also the one it gradually breaks. Regular use can dull motivation, disrupt short-term memory, and in heavy doses, trigger anxiety or paranoia. Your brain's reward system slowly recalibrates around the drug, making natural relaxation feel harder to reach without it. It's often called harmless, but it quietly reshapes how your brain rewards doing nothing. Cannabis is mildly addictive. The keyword there is mildly, until it isn't. Cocaine is a powerful stimulant made from the coca leaf, most commonly snorted as a white powder. It floods the brain with dopamine by blocking your body from reabsorbing it. Suddenly, your brain is drowning in pleasure signals all at once. The onset is almost instant. A rush of euphoria, energy, and confidence. Your heart pounds, your pupils widen, and your brain feels electric. Every thought feels brilliant. Every move feels perfect. You feel untouchable. But the high is sharp and brutally short, and the brain's reward system is already burning through its fuel. Within minutes, dopamine crashes, anxiety rises, mood drops. You crave more just to feel neutral again. Each hit rewires your brain to link cocaine with pleasure, motivation, and control. But it's an illusion. Over time, it damages the heart, constricts blood vessels, and rewires brain chemistry so deeply that joy without it feels impossible. Cocaine gives you the feeling of being at your best. It's borrowing against a loan you can never fully repay. MDMA, better known as ecstasy or Molly, is a synthetic stimulant and hallucinogen. Usually swallowed as a pill at parties or clubs, it floods your brain with serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin simultaneously. That's the trio responsible for happiness, reward, and human connection. All at once, all at maximum volume. Warmth spreads through your body. Music sounds richer. Touch feels electric. You feel deeply connected to everyone around you. At the peak, the world feels perfect. You dance for hours. You feel infinite. But MDMA burns through your serotonin supply so fast that the calm down isn't just tiredness, it's emptiness. Within hours, emotion drains out completely. Sadness, exhaustion, and a flatness that can last for days. Used too often, MDMA damages the neurons that release serotonin, making natural happiness harder and harder to reach. It's called a love drug because it makes you feel connected to everyone. But when it's over, you realize that connection was chemical, and your brain is left paying the price. LSD is a hallucinogen, a chemical that doesn't add things to your perception, it rewires how your brain processes reality itself. It's taken on tiny papers placed on the tongue. The amount you ingest is microscopic, measured in millionths of a gram, and yet it can completely transform your experience of being alive for 8 to 12 hours. LSD binds to serotonin receptors, particularly one called 5-HT2A, which shapes how you perceive the world. Patterns start moving, colors shift, sounds seem to have texture, reality itself starts breathing. But the peak is where things get genuinely unpredictable, even for the same person, at the same dose. Your sense of self, the part of your brain that says I'm me, dissolves. You might feel connected to the universe, or terrified, or both simultaneously. Some describe it as a reset, others as being permanently rewired. LSD isn't physically addictive, but it's deeply unpredictable. The same dose can be bliss or nightmare, depending entirely on your mindset and environment. LSD opens the mind. It doesn't always close the door cleanly behind it. Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic, originally designed for surgery. Today it's used medically in small doses to treat severe depression. Recreationally, it's taken for its out-of-body effects. It's snorted as a powder or injected, and it works by blocking glutamate, the chemical your brain uses to process sensory input and maintain awareness. Within minutes, the world goes distant, muffled, dreamlike. At the peak, perception detaches completely. Users describe feeling like they're floating above their own body, watching their life from the outside. What people call the K-hole. Time stops making sense. But for some, that detachment doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like being trapped inside a bad dream with no exit. Heavy use causes memory problems, bladder damage, and a creeping emotional numbness that doesn't lift. It builds tolerance fast, meaning you need more to reach the same disconnection. Ketamine can separate body from mind in ways that feel profound in the moment. Sometimes they don't fully come back together. Opioids are painkillers derived from the opium poppy, or made synthetically in labs. They include prescription drugs like morphine and oxycodone, and street drugs like heroin and fentanyl. They all work the same way, attaching to opioid receptors in your brain and body, blocking pain and flooding you with a deep, heavy euphoria that feels like safety itself. The onset brings warmth and comfort unlike anything else. Pain fades. Stress disappears. Your body melts. It's not an energetic high. It's like sinking into the world's softest blanket. At the peak, everything slows, thoughts drift, and you feel completely protected from the world. But each time you chase that feeling, it becomes shorter, weaker, and harder to reach. Tolerance builds fast. The dose that worked last week barely touches you now. And the calm down is brutal. Anxiety, muscle pain, nausea, sweating, insomnia. Every nerve in your body screams for the drug again. Opioids rewire the brain's survival system, teaching it that the drug is as essential as food or water. The warmth they give at the beginning is the same warmth they take away from everything else in your life. Methamphetamine is a powerful stimulant that floods your brain with dopamine and adrenaline simultaneously. Within seconds of taking it, it hits like a lightning bolt. It's smoked, swallowed, snorted, or injected. And it works faster and harder than almost any other stimulant known. Energy explodes. Your mind sharpens. Every sense turns up to maximum. You feel awake, unstoppable, invincible. At the peak, confidence becomes euphoria and motivation becomes obsession. You might clean your entire house, talk for hours, or pursue a goal that suddenly feels like destiny. But your brain is burning through its entire dopamine supply in one go. And the crash matches the high. Energy vanishes. The mind collapses into exhaustion, depression, and paranoia that can last for days. Over time, meth destroys the system that creates pleasure naturally, leading to severe weight loss, hallucinations, memory loss, and a face that ages years and months. It gives you energy that feels infinite, until you realize it was stolen from your future self. Psilocybin, better known as magic mushrooms, is a hallucinogen found in certain fungi. Eaten raw, brewed as tea, or ground into capsules. Once consumed, the body converts psilocybin into psilocin, which interacts with serotonin receptors in the brain. The onset starts within 30 minutes. Your senses sharpen, patterns shimmer, laughter comes easily, and you become intensely aware of your own body and breathing. At the peak, perception transforms. Colors pulse, time stretches, and many people report a deep connection to nature, memory, or buried emotion. Some describe it as the most meaningful experience of their life. But psilocybin doesn't show you something new. It pulls back the curtain on what's already in your mind, and not everyone is ready for what's there. In the wrong setting or the wrong mental state, it can trigger panic, confusion, or a psychosis-like episode that lingers for days. It's not physically addictive, but it's powerful in ways that are hard to predict in advance. Researchers are now using it to treat depression and PTSD, with genuine results. Mushrooms don't create the experience. You bring it in with you. Benzodiazepines, or benzos, are prescription sedatives used to treat anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia. Drugs like Valium and Xanax fall into this category. They work by enhancing GABA, a brain chemical that slows down activity and brings calm. Legal, widely prescribed, and sitting in millions of medicine cabinets right now. After swallowing one, muscles loosen, thoughts quiet. The world stops feeling so sharp. At the peak, worry fades, time drifts, and sleep comes easily. For people with severe anxiety, benzos can feel like the first real relief they've ever had. But the brain adjusts to that calm faster than almost any other drug, and stopping suddenly can be more dangerous than stopping heroin. Tolerance builds quickly. You need more for the same effect. And withdrawal from benzos can cause seizures severe enough to be fatal without medical supervision. They're prescribed as a short-term solution. Many people take them for years. The calm they bring is real. The danger isn't the calm. It's how easily they convince you that you can't survive without it. Closing, every drug on this list works by speaking your brain's own language. Dopamine, serotonin, GABA, glutamate. They don't create new feelings. They borrow from the ones you already have, just faster, harder, and at a cost your brain pays later. Which entry changed how you see it more? Caffeine, the world's most accepted addiction, or benzos, the prescription drug whose withdrawal can kill you.